Hi, everybody. It's Uncle Ron. Just want to let you know that this episode is chock full of technical issues. You're going to get some jumps between things that shouldn't be there, but we didn't want to redo the conversation because we were having such a great time, and it's such a great talk. And if you're a George Romero fan, there's a lot of stuff in there for that. Paul and I are huge Romero people. So be sure to check it out. Thank you so much for all your support. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And let's get right into the episode. So yeah, it's oh god, last time I saw you was at Twisted Dreams, right?
Twisted Dreams
Like in person?
2018, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember you came up to me and you said, or you asked me a question when I was on stage, and you said, "Where's Becoming Undead 1?"
Yeah.
And I had no idea that. Yeah, I had no idea. We had never met. I think we might have talked online or something.
Yeah,
Hadn't
but that
we?
was the first time we met. Only
Yeah,
time
and
we
that was.
met.
I was like, yeah, I was like, who the hell is talking about becoming undead? Who wants to watch my first movie? I mean, what the
I'm
fuck?
I'm a champion of independent cinema. What can I say?
Well, thank you very much. And yeah, and then you go back, and we're both kind of, into that whole thing, and but now you're from what part of Illinois are you from? Urbana?
I'm in
Or am I
Normal. I'm
wrong?
from Normal.
Normal, Urbana, I guess. I was thinking of the band Braid, I guess.
It's all in the same area.
Okay. Now, growing up, I mean, were you did you have a lot of influence to get into making films? Because me, I jump all over the goddamn place, as you know. But you are pretty steadfast in the being creative on film type thing.
I certainly am now, but when I was like in high school, like a lot of people our age, I was playing in bands and I was doing the whole music thing for a long time. And we started making music videos in our bands, and that's when I'm like, the music video thing is almost more fun than playing the music. And that's when the gears started turning a little bit, that I might be a little bit more interested in the video side of things than music.
Yeah, see, that happened with me too. I was there's a band from up here, and I was over at their practice one day, and I just started filming them on
Hmm.
one of their cameras, and they were doing a Smiths cover, and it was please, please, please let me get what I want,
Yeah, I
and I
mean,
still ask that 25 years later, but
I had a lot of fun playing, back in the day, and I moved to New York to try to do the music thing for a while, but eventually, when you're younger, you're exploring different things and trying to figure out what your jam is going to be. And once we
right.
did the music videos, and then we made a zombie movie in 2004, and that's when I was really like, okay, this is tons of fun, and this is what I want to do.
Yeah, I did. Now, did you run into any kind of like huge snafus when you were shooting your first zombie movie? Because both of our first films were zombie films.
Yes. Well, yes. Tons of snafus.
I love hearing,
But
I love hearing, I love hearing people like the issues that they went through on their first film, because our camera broke. I had to go in my trunk and find a flip cam that I didn't even know if it was charged. I didn't know if it worked, and that's what we shot the entire Becoming Undead on, a flip cam.
well, I'll tell you the really nice thing about the zombie movie that we made. It's called Late Afternoon of the Living Dead. It's free on YouTube if anyone would like to check it out. Just search for it on YouTube, and it'll pop up, and you can watch the whole thing if you feel like it. Um, but the nice thing about making that movie was we shot it on weekends over the course of
Mhm.
like several years. Because again, when you're younger and you're just kind of doing stuff for fun and hanging out with friends and trying to make stuff, there's that joy of, nobody really cared about getting paid or making money off of it. We just wanted to make a movie. So if we had a snafu, if we had a hiccup somewhere, we could take the rest of the week to address it and fix it, and we'd be good to go the next weekend. I know that we did a lot of rewrites in the middle of shooting the movie, you know? So
Mhm.
obviously when you're shooting something and you're shooting it over the course of, a week or whatever the case is, 2 weeks, you don't have that luxury anymore. So I kind of miss that in a way, like taking the weekends to just shoot a movie.
Yep. I miss the whole like let's just do this from morning till night and get it over with and it's done. I remember when we shot what the fuck was it? Nightmare with the clown. I don't know if you saw that one or not.
I don't
With the
know. I
clown with
don't
the
think so.
axe. It's the one that has what we affectionately refer to as the honk chop because the guy playing the clown forgot to take the horn out of his pocket when he was doing the chopping scene when he was chopping the woman up. So every time he brought his arm down, it'd be like, yeah,
See, those are the happy accidents that you just love.
yeah, and we kept it in because that was fantastic.
Yeah.
And when we were shooting that, we shot a good hunk of it during the day, and then we shot the rest of it at night. Um, and we did the same thing for Becoming Undead too. We shot from like noon till 3 or 4, and then we came back to shoot the indoor stuff later in the evening. And I miss those days a lot. There was no remember not having any stress when you were making a movie.
The thing is, you can still do it if you want to. Um, but there's definitely something about, the time and the place and, being that particular age and everything that you're certainly never going to get back.
Right, exactly. I mean, I started later than you. I didn't do my first film until 2010. So, but what is it about zombies? Do you think? Because both of us, our first films were zombie films. I mean, we probably owe it to Uncle George,
Yeah.
obviously.
I mean, that's a big
You
part of
know,
it, like Late Afternoon is an homage to George. And I think for you and me both, it, is probably 80-90% that, just wanting to
Mhm.
emulate him and do something similar to him. I will tell you that we had a lot of trouble though, because we didn't just shoot it in color and then convert it to black and white in post. We really shot it in black and white on mini DV, and
Oh my God.
we ran into some really big trouble when we were trying to find any sort of distribution deal for it. We took it to LA when it was finished, and I remember very specifically driving an hour to find this distributor who was going to take a meeting with us to check out the movie. We get there and we hand him the DVD. He sees the front cover. He sees that it's in black and white. He goes, "It's not in black and white, is it?" And we're like, "Yeah." And he hands it back to us and he goes, "Nobody's going to touch this." So we took our lumps making that decision, and it's kind of unfortunate. It's almost like now it would be totally different, but back then there
Yeah.
wasn't quite the market for it. So
I mean, last night Joe Bob was all in black and white for crying out loud.
I saw that. Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a very he remember the old episodes when he would just take you to school on a movie? That's exactly what he did with this one, and it was so great. It was like old school Joe Bob, and he went down this list of things that you can never say on the show, like things are a restored cult classic, and you can't say crap like that anymore, or it's a hidden gem, or so. If you're wondering why there was a harsh jump cut there, folks, it's because my technology is shit. And now back to the program.
It
Um,
happens.
oh, it does. It really does. But no, and it was just like it felt really cool to kind of see old school um Joe Bob like that. And I don't know, did you take the quiz from summer school?
No, I didn't even catch it last night. I just saw some clips online.
I have a diploma from the Briggs Academy of the Drive-In Cinematic Arts.
Nice.
And the questions were actually really kind of tough because there were a couple of essay questions.
Is that the thing that Darcy was doing like a little while back?
It was it was like it was during the last 3 weeks, not this week, and it
Okay.
was Joe Bob's summer school. He showed Donnie Darko, which was for physics. He
Wow.
showed Suitable Flesh, which was the first time view for me for medicine. Oh no, sex. And medicine was Dr. Giggles.
Nice.
So, which makes sense. But it's yeah, yeah, I don't know. It's just it's he as bad as things are going for me right now, whenever he comes on, it always just brings a smile to my face. There's just something about, maybe because it's like a part of a lost youth.
Yeah, I mean, it's that, and he's just the best in the business. So anytime he's on, and anytime he's taking you to school, you know you're gonna have a good time with it.
Exactly, exactly. I still love to go back and watch his Texas Chainsaw episode from Dinners of Death, when
Mhm.
he just goes all in on the cannibals in Scotland and all this other, and it's just like, holy crap, that is, wow, okay.
I'm a big fan
Whew.
of Carnival of Souls too, and
Yeah,
couple earlier this year, I went to some of the filming locations. I was in Lawrence, Kansas. I don't know if he talked about this last night, but
he
weird
did.
how the move, like part of the movie was shot in Utah, like Salt Lake City, and then part of it was shot in Lawrence, Kansas. And I happened to be in Lawrence, and so we visited some of the filming locations, which was really fun.
Yeah, he said that Kansas has got to be in black and white anyway.
Hmm.
And I was like, yeah, well, so is Wisconsin. So, but Illinois depends on the part you're in, I suppose.
Yeah, right now it's, as you
But
can see, it's very I have a lot of it's the nighttime sky behind me right now is, I got a nice full moon, and it's actually turning my skin some strange colors every now and
well, there you go.
then.
That's what you're. That's what happens, I suppose.
Hmm.
Now, you growing up, did your, like, when you started doing that kind of stuff, did your parents support it? Was it like a that kind of a household, or were they, shaking their fist at "don't make stupid movies"?
No, 100%. They've always been very supportive, um, and that's made it so much easier, not having to worry about that. And it's I mean, they have definitely supported me in terms of, just like, if I when I was trying to get things off the ground and we were editing that zombie movie, I needed a new computer. They helped me out with stuff like that, and that sort of thing goes a long way. So always
It
got to
does.
thank my
It really
folks for
does.
that.
Yeah, I remember editing becoming undead on Windows Movie Maker. Yeah, so that was a
It's
lot of fun.
not super uncommon. I was talking with Robbie Banfitch, and he has been sort of like playing with different editing softwares as well. So whatever works.
Right. Like I'm a Final Cut Pro 10 guy now. But that's just because Mac is my go-to computer.
Yeah,
I mean, I could use Premiere, but
I'm in Premiere, and I'm thinking about, for the next movie, switching over to DaVinci Resolve, because Premiere has like a subscription model, and they just raised their prices, and I'm like, oh god, I really enjoy working in it. I just don't know if I want to keep doing it. And DaVinci is a flat rate. You buy it and then you just own it, like the good old days. So I'm thinking
I
about
forgot all about that. Yeah.
I'm thinking about doing that again.
Yeah,
We'll
remember when
see.
you could just buy something? Yeah. Remember when you could just give somebody a chicken for a hard day's work?
Oh,
I
those were
sound
the
like
days.
Yeah, I sound like Ron Swan. Well, actually, I feel really old today because I was showing my brother some Brewers merchandise, and I saw this like white jacket with the logo on it. Because if you don't follow baseball, and anybody who's watching it doesn't follow baseball, is the second episode I brought up baseball, by the way. I looked at it, I'm like, now that's really sharp. I was like, oh my god, I'm my grandparents. Get my AARP card and find my fucking walker, because it's time to retire.
It
Um,
happens.
yeah, it happens to the best of us. Now,
Yeah.
after late afternoon, just thinking about that title, late afternoon of the Living Dead. Did John Russo try and sue you for using Living Dead?
No, surprisingly. I don't think we even knew about that at the time, the sort of breakdown of that lawsuit and everything. And I know that
But did you buy a script of Night of Anubis from John Russo, signed by Russ Streiner, George Romero, and himself?
I bought something from John a couple months ago when I was at Living Dead Weekend. I bought you would actually probably really like to read this, Ron. I bought his original, um, not the original Return of the Living Dead book that he wrote, but the sequel to it. He wrote a sequel to it at some point, and I'm like, okay, I got to pick this up. And so I bought that
Oh
from
yeah.
him at his table.
I was at Flashback one year and he was there. And the first thing I went down there, I had saved up. I had like $500 in my pocket. The first thing I see is John Russo, and I see Night of Anubis, and it's signed by George Romero and Russ Streiner and him. And I was like, how much? $100. Like, here you go. I just saw George's name on it. And I think that George has those weird fans that will, like, you see something George related and it's like, here, take all my money. It's that Fry meme, you know, take all my
Yeah.
money. Like, I just got from a friend, I got a lithograph from Dawn of the Dead. It's a drawing from the Pittsburgh Comic-Con, and I can't find out anywhere online how much it's worth.
If you were to
Anywhere.
post it in Living Dead Weekend on Facebook, I bet you somebody would probably be able to tell you,
Okay, I
give you a
will, because I
ballpark.
went to some website called What's It Worth or whatever, and they wanted to charge me to look it up. Or I'm like, no, fuck that. I mean,
Yeah.
mine's not signed like that one was. But now, jumping forward, I think, I don't know if this was because we met because of this, and then we met at Twisted Dreams. But let's just get it, the 800-pound gorilla out of here. Taco Bell. Explain that situation to everybody who doesn't know.
Well, Ron, when two people love each other very much,
They have sex with a burrito.
they make some strange decisions every now and then because they're not thinking straight.
Is that how
Um,
that works?
yeah. I got married at Taco Bell in quite a while ago now. 2009. I had been dating a lovely Australian girl, and we were both not super interested in doing anything related to the church.
Mm-hmm.
So we were going to just go to the courthouse. The courthouse happened to be booked, and I said, I'm not really sure what to do here. So I had a friend who was a ordained minister, and I called him up and I said, I'm getting married and we don't know where to go. Please advise. And he said, you can, legally speaking, you can get married anywhere. I could marry you on your couch while you're playing Mario Kart. And the gears started turning. I'm like, okay, interesting. We could do something kind of fun with this. She she was really into Taco Bell because as a vegetarian, you can customize almost anything at Taco Bell
Mm-hmm.
to make it vegetarian, a lot of stuff even vegan. And so we did a lot of fine dining there, and the idea just sort of got tossed out. What if we just, I don't know, what if we popped into Taco Bell? And one thing led to another, and people started asking. I heard people said, I heard a weird thing that you might be getting married at a particular fast food establishment. And if that's the case, I would like to be there. So people started showing up, and then word kind of got out, and then it hit the AP wire, and then it was all over the world for a little while. I mean, it really got out of control.
Now, the real question here is, did you have your honeymoon in the bathroom?
Pretty
Because you got
much,
married at
yeah.
Taco Bell.
Yeah, when you're
Now,
on
did
a
they do
budget,
anything? Did they do anything nice for you, like Taco Bell? Because you're getting married in their restaurant.
the president of Taco Bell sent me a check covering the expense of the entire wedding, which was not much, but it was a nice gesture.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it was a strange but very fun night.
Um, when you were dating her, she said she's an Australian. Was she in the States, or was this a long distance thing? And and you just decided, hell with it, let's get her a green card, and then some green sauce.
Yeah, it was a long distance thing, and she had been thinking about visiting. Um, she had a cousin in Chicago, So she was like, "I have a cousin in Chicago. Maybe if when I'm visiting her, we could hang out at some point." And I'm like, "Yeah, that'd be great." And we started talking, and then we were talking every day, and it kind of turned into, well, I guess I could go see my cousin at some point, but how about I come down and hang out with you? Um, and yeah, we started hanging out, and one thing led to another.
That's so awesome.
It is awesome, Ron, but needless to say, it did not work out. I mean, I got married in a Taco Bell, so I don't know what you
Fair
expect.
enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, I married two people in their backyard, so I think that might have been a better option.
Did you really? You've been
I'm
efficient
more.
before?
I'm. Oh yeah, I'm efficient. I've been an efficient before. Yes.
I did my first one last year. It was actually a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. I got
Yeah.
to. I got to. There are a couple of comic book nerds, so I got to bring up a lot of like comic book relationships, and I mentioned Lois and Clark, Reed and Sue, to a lower extent, Batman and Selina. Maybe even Zatanna and John Constantine, if you want to get real freaky, because who knows what the hell they do. But
Backyard stuff, I mean, that's my advice to anyone who is watching who might be thinking about getting married. Keep it simple. Please don't spend a lot of money. You can spend
yeah,
all that money, that's a down payment on a house or a car. Don't blow your money on some big extravagant ceremony because it might not work out.
well, if you're okay with talking about it, what happened? If you're okay with talking about it.
There was, I mean, one, we were young, so I mean, it just probably wasn't the best idea in the world, but also like she wasn't legally allowed to work. So it was just a lot of us hanging out constantly, and we just kind of crashed and burned. Beyond that, and this will not be a surprise to you, as an Australian, she was not very impressed with the American healthcare system,
You don't
and
say.
um, was not was kind of itching to get back to Australia at some point. So there's a lot of people get over here and they see what it's really like over here and they go,
Yep.
oh, okay. Ugh.
Yeah, we're a lot of greener pastures for people, but then when they see the grass is actually burned out and full of my pillows,
Yeah,
you know, I'm sorry. I forgot to wear my pillow earmuff, so I couldn't.
it's very popular these days.
It is. It is. I'm waiting for the gummy ears to go on sale. But now after Taco Bell fun, you and I met at the Twisted Dreams in 2017,
I think it's
2018, I think.
2018.
It wasn't the one with Joe Bob, it was the one before it.
Yeah, it was 2018 because my I have a short film that I did called Below Decks, and it was in festivals at that time, and
Yes.
it got in, and I flew out from I was living in LA at the time, so we flew out for it.
Ah, yes, that's what it was. Now I remember. Now I remember. Isn't that Deneen Melody in that one?
Yeah, she does some voice work in it. She plays the main character's mother,
On the
and
phone.
she was like 3 years older than the main character in the film. But Deneen is so good at what she does that she got herself into more of like a motherly sounding voice. And I don't think that you would ever know that there's a very small age difference there.
And now she's a voice actress.
Yeah, and
Go figure.
actually, when we recorded that for the film is right when Deneen was trying to get into voice acting, and she's like, I want to really give this a shot. So if you have something that you want me to do, I'm all for it because I need stuff for my reel and I need to like get stuff, to like put myself out there more. So that's when she was first starting to get involved with all that.
Oh, well, there you go. See, everything's connected.
Yeah, yeah,
This is some weird True Detective shit, everybody.
yeah.
And I'm Matthew McConaughey. You can't ask me any questions on record because I've been drinking too much Dr Pepper Zero, not a sponsor. And now, so what brought you back to Illinois? Because I know you were in LA for a while.
Yeah, I was in LA for 6 years. COVID brought me back essentially. Um, I was living in my studio apartment by myself, and my cat died.
Oh,
This is in May of 2020, And then the following day were all of the George Floyd protests,
Ooh.
and LA was it was a crazy time, yeah.
Right.
And you know, it's been a while now, so it's if you recall, we didn't know how long COVID was going to go on, how bad it was going to get, if things were going to completely fall apart. It was really scary. And I just said, I don't know if I want to be out here by myself while all this is going on. And
I wouldn't.
when my cat passed away, I kind of took that as the sign. Okay, I don't have to lug her all the way across the country now. I can go home for a little bit and wait for some of this to calm down, you know?
Right. And then Kyle Rittenhouse happens closer to home than.
God. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I
I mean,
remember,
it's
yeah, that was just a hard time for everybody.
mhm,
Like I'm on the north side of Racine, and
mhm.
you kind of know where that is, so I don't have to
Yeah.
explain it to you. But which is a good 25 minutes from where all the fun was happening in Kenosha. But I still took my Steve Dash autographed machete and I wrapped it up in saran wrap to not ruin the autograph because Steve is no longer with us. And I slept with it next to me because I'm
Can't
not
be
a
too
gun.
careful.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not a gun guy. And I slept on the couch because I was sleeping on the couch at that time because my mom was in the hospital, in and out, and it's a big shit show. The whole thing was a shit show.
We've been through a lot. I know you lost your mom. I lost my dad to COVID. So I know that
Yeah,
everybody kind of has this collective trauma, and
yeah,
you deal with it and you manage with it as best you can.
yeah. And it doesn't get for people who have told me to get over my mom's death. It's you don't get over it. It just gets easier to deal with.
Yeah, and there's no timetable for
No.
anything, I mean that you do what you got to do.
Yeah, like with her, she dies, and then my brother and I get thrown right into probate. So I had no time to kind of, grieve and anything. And now he's telling me, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. It's like, I can't just make it come out.
Hmm.
That's why I'm in therapy. Therapy works, everybody.
Good for you.
Better help, not a sponsor. Sponsor me, please. Um, Now you come back here, and it seemed like your career got bigger being in Illinois than it
Yeah.
ever was in LA. Do you think that has something to do with do you want to thank Robert Rodriguez now? Or
Hey, his book was my Bible when I was just starting to get into this.
Mhm.
That had a pretty big influence on me, as it has had on a lot of other people. But
Right.
when I was still in LA, we were talking about the idea of doing a feature in Illinois because it's just so much easier. I mean, there's so much red tape in Hollywood to cut through, and everything's so much more expensive. You go to a building and you say, we're shooting a movie here. We were wondering if we could use, this building as a shooting location. Sure, get a permit and it'll be 10 grand a day or whatever. You do something here in the Midwest and you say the same thing. We're shooting a movie. We're wondering if we could, use this location, and people will jump at the opportunity to help you out in any way.
Oh
So
yeah.
from that perspective, it's a lot easier to do that. And we were planning on doing that when I was still in LA, and that's when COVID hit. And so we lost that whole summer, obviously couldn't do anything. And then when I came back home, I said to, the people that I collaborate with, let's not let another summer pass us by without doing something. So we
Right.
had some ideas. We had the location at our disposal whenever we wanted it. So we had been working on it the year prior. We just had to wait until the following summer to make it happen.
Now, when you were in LA, that's where you met Sierra and everybody. And
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, I met Sierra in Hollywood. Our producer, Seth Kromick, lives in Chicago. I've known him for 12, 13 years, 14 years, something like that. So kind of, pooling resources together from different groups.
see, that was always my biggest problem is not having a producer. I had to like everything pre-production. I had to do it myself. And when we were making Becoming Undead 3, I thought I was having a stroke because I was trying to raise money and I was in the hospital for it. And then I got heat stroke on the day of shooting day, and I was in the hospital with that. and so somebody else directed my baby. That's why I did the audio version, because I wanted to get my, and it kind of mentally, and see, people don't understand it. They think people who make stuff are just kind of like, oh, I'm a weirdo creative person. We got a lot of crap up in our head that just that are blocking us, mainly ourselves. And I think becoming undead in and of itself was something that was holding me back from doing anything else. And now that it's gone and I finished it, voila, I can kind of be free to be me and do my thing. And here we are.
Yeah. But I'll agree with you that, getting a producer is one of the hardest things, as a creative, trying to find someone who has more of a business mindset than you do, because I just don't.
Not me
Um,
either.
it's just never going to be my specialty. And so working with Seth, who is my producer, has been great. We started on Below Decks, actually. I said, why
Mm.
don't you dip your toes in a little bit with the short film, get a feel for it, see if you like it. And we
Nice
had
pun.
fun with that.
A boat short, and dip your
Yeah.
toes. That's nice. That was good. Yeah.
Dip your toes in the Pacific,
Yes.
So I
Midwest
would
humor, folks.
I would encourage people that if you can find someone who wants to partner with you in that capacity, it for me, it took me 15 years to make a feature, but that was really the key, was getting him on board to be the partner to make it happen, to finance it.
Exactly. Yeah. Because I mean, if I know the money's there, I'd be okay going to going location scouting or
Right.
casting or things like that. But trying to raise that money, and we went through. I don't know if I ever told you what happened. We had two people lined up. They both backed out a week before the shoot,
Mm.
and then I got somebody else for the male, and that was locked in. And then I had to grab an extra to play the female, because the woman that we got, I said we're doing COVID restrictions unless you're on camera, blah blah blah. Everyone's gonna have a mask around you, blah blah blah. And because this was September 2021, people were just starting to get vaccinated, and she wasn't going to deal with that. I'm like, oh well, okay, fine. So I got somebody else who was okay with it, and the next day. So it was really kind of a lot of stress on my part, and it's that's where
We
my
had,
new Facebook pictures from, with the hat, where I
yeah.
look like where if you just put a cigar in my mouth, I'm John Ford. Um, that was the day we were going out to shoot that day, and I had the big hat because of the sun and everything, and I still got all messed up because I was on different medication and stuff. And now I can't seem to make a feature without a producer, because I fear for my life, like literally fear for my life.
No, I mean, your health comes first, so
Right, right.
you got to
That's why
make
you
those
shouldn't
tough
take a
calls.
job where you make less and have more work.
Right.
Yes, exactly. Now, we'll get back to Hag in just a second. I want to B movie mania. Let's talk about that for a second, because you were nice enough to have me on to talk about my double feature, which I still stand by to this day. And how did that get started? Because how many years have you guys done the 24-hour live stream? Or is it
We just
48? 24, yeah.
It's 24. We just did our 12th, and so that's kind of how it started. I don't remember how that started exactly, but we have a 24-hour marathon that me and three other guys get together and do once a year, and we have a really good time putting it together and selecting our films. It's just a guy hangout thing. Um, and we had so much fun doing it that we said, well, what if we just did this more often in sort of a podcast version, just
Right.
talking about B movies, and one of us picks a movie every episode, and it's like we'll do seasons, and we did 6 seasons of that and had a really good time with it. And then when I decided that I wanted to focus more on movie stuff, we said we're not going to do as much, and so now we'll put something out every now and then, but it's essentially on, I don't know if you'd say hiatus or what, but we just, we don't do it nearly as regularly as we used to, just every now and then.
Well, I mean, I've been to a few of the live streams, and they were a lot of fun.
Yeah,
And
we have a blast.
I
And
got to
I
see a bunch
appreciate
of
you hanging out for it.
yeah, I got to see some movies I'd never seen before. Did you guys? I'm trying to remember. Did you guys show Mystics in Bali?
No, There, there's
That's
some
one fucked up movie.
there's some weird stuff that'll pop up every now and then. And that's what's great is like all four of us have slightly different B movie tastes,
Mhm.
and like something that Chris picks is never going to be something that I pick. So it's fun to kind of get that nice balance. And then I put the schedule together and try to, put the right movies in the right spot. And we have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, like, have you ever been to B Fest?
I never have, and I always want to because it's essentially the same thing.
Yeah, and and you get to be around people that you don't know, and you're in a movie theater. And now I know you're a Red Letter Media fan as well.
Big time.
And did you see their episode where they talked about going there with Half in
No.
the Bag? Yeah, this is a long time ago. Josh went with them,
Mm.
and it started off with Best of the Best, the Eric Roberts, James Earl Jones vehicle.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen that.
It's so fucked up. But you get to hear James Earl Jones just, no.
I
Okay,
gotta
it's a
go. I gotta go.
yeah.
Like, is it in January or February or something like
I
that?
think it might be. I'm not sure. But then he that was their first introduction to Rudy Ray Moore
Mm,
and the Avenging Disco Godfather. And
nice.
since I saw that, I was like, I gotta find out more about this Rudy Ray Moore guy. And I've been going through like Petey Wheatstraw and Dolomite, and it's just, yeah, I'm like, this guy is amazing, and he does everything on his own. Basically, I mean, he gets a group of people together, but I don't think he's lost money on a movie yet. I mean, he's dead now, so he's
Right.
really losing money. But I don't think he ever has, which is amazing.
I definitely got to get up there at some point. The problem, Ron, is that I'm not getting any younger.
This is true.
And for our 24-hour festival, when I get tired, I'm already in a recliner and I just pass out. I don't know
Yep.
how it works at B Fest where you're in a college environment and you probably just have
Ugh.
to lay on the floor or something.
I'm looking it up right now because this is something that other people might. Oh, it's already happened.
This year,
Yeah, it happened in February.
yeah,
Yeah. So,
2025, I'm gonna try to do it.
and this is the lineup. Are you interested?
Yeah,
Okay, it's opened with Hard Rock Zombies.
nice.
Then it went to She Devils on Wheels, um, The Black Scorpion,
Mm,
Wonder Women from 1973, Runaway, Wizard of Speed and Time,
nice.
Plan 9 from Outer Space,
Of course.
A Boy and His Dog, Hot Potato, The Chilling, Monkey Hustle, The Apple, wow, Stunt Rock, Demonic Toys, Arcade, and it ended with the gore cut of Tammy and the T-Rex.
Nice. Definitely 4 or 5 of those that have crossed over into our marathons and the podcast at some point.
I think I've only seen the Apple and Tammy and the T-Rex
We
of
definitely
all.
did Tammy and the T-Rex. We've been talking about doing the Apple at some point. I've never seen it, and I hear it's pretty bonkers, so I gotta get
It's
around to
very
that one.
bonkers. It's very bonkers. There's another show I think you should check out if you haven't, called Welcome to the Basement. It's the Chad Vader guys.
Okay.
And it's one of them. And every other week they watch a movie that he's never seen. That's the only
Mm,
prerequisite. He has to have never seen it.
that's great, I
And
love that.
I like they've done the Nook of the North. They've done uh, what was it? All That Jazz.
Mm.
Megaforce. It's like, how have you never seen Megaforce? But the only problem is like, and why I prefer Red Letter Media is because when you're watching Red Letter Media, they're making jokes that you would make because you know what I mean. Whereas Welcome to the Basement, while it's great, they're way more Siskel and Eberty about it,
Mm.
and I'm just kind of like, I don't like Siskel and Ebert because of what they did to Betsy Palmer.
Yeah, I was watching there's a new Red Letter Media that came out, I think yesterday, a new, Wheel
Wheel of the
of the
Worst.
Worst, and they have some bonkers stuff this time around, and
Yeah.
Rich Evans is cackling like a maniac per usual.
The what's funny about that is if you watch their Long Legs review, they said something happens at the bend of Best of the Worst that
Mm.
will make you laugh at what happens in Long Legs because apparently it's connected, and they didn't know it when they went to see Long Legs because apparently they had shot Wheel of the Worst first.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if it's the whole 45 thing or 48 or whatever at the end, when Rich guessed the number right. Um,
Oh,
or something, but you had said that you kind of wanted to touch on Long Legs, and
Yeah, why not?
I'd love to know what you thought of it.
I I'm still processing.
So am
I'm
I. I
st
saw it a week ago.
I don't know. It's one of those things where I walked out of the theater going, "Okay, that was something." I'm not sure how I felt about it, but it was definitely a thing. But it's one of those movies that 100% sticks with you, gets under your skin, you keep thinking about it, you keep theorizing. It's
I'm going back
definitely worth a
Tuesday.
rewatch.
Yeah, I'm going back Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, definitely something that you need to see more than once to pick up on everything that's going on.
And the best thing about it is Osgood Perkins let Nick Cage just be Nick Cage,
Mhm.
and that's when you get the best stuff.
See, I think that's what I'm still part of what I'm still processing because I love Nick Cage and I love what he did in this, but I also wonder what it would have been like with someone with actually less star power. Because Micah Monroe at this point is a pretty big genre staple in my book anyway.
Right.
And I think the movie could have been a lot scarier if someone else was playing the character. And if Perkins wanted to go the kind of bonkers route that he obviously went with, but I also know that he probably gave Nick Cage a lot of leeway to do what he
Right.
wanted to do with the character. So
Like
it's
I think if he worked with someone like Michael Shannon or something, he would have had to have given them a lot of direction. And it's not because
right.
he's a bad actor, but because he doesn't normally play bonkers like that.
Right, and I know that I watched an interview with Nick where he said that he read the script and he immediately knew that he wanted to channel his mother for the character. And Oz Perkins was really interested in that because he said, "This movie is also about my mother." So they both had similar ideas about different characters in the film and channeling their mother, which I think is fascinating. And like I said, I can't wait to go back and watch it again.
Yeah, and another thing I've been loving is the previews for the upcoming horror films. It's what's been dragged. Oh, blah, blah, blah. New tongue. Hold on. It's what has drug me back to the cinema because I was kind of content to watch things on VOD, and then I went and
Mhm.
saw In a Violent Nature. Let's not get into that. I saw Day One, Quiet Place Day One, which was fantastic. I saw Maxine, which was a movie. I and then I saw Longlegs, and I'm excited for like The Heretic and The Front Room and Cuckoo and Alien Romulus looks great. And then all the way into December, we've got the Nosferatu remake with Willem fucking Dafoe. I mean,
It's
come
a
on.
great time to be a horror fan. It really
It
is.
is. It really is. And the only non-horror movie I think I've watched in the past 2 months has been Bike Riders.
That is so funny you say that because same here. I was in Chicago earlier this month and I had a kind of an afternoon to kill
Mm-hmm.
before I took the train back down here. And there's a theater downtown. I'm like, okay, got to be something good horror movie playing here somewhere. And there was nothing. The only thing that I had any sort of interest in was the Bike Riders, but I actually really ended up liking it. I thought it was pretty interesting.
It felt like Goodfellas for motorcycle gangs.
Yeah,
It really did, like the way they paced it and the way they did everything. And what's funny is, I know what club that really is, and I know anybody who
right.
pays attention. Yeah, and yeah, I've met a couple of them, and
Yeah,
it's
they're still
yep,
going.
yeah, they're still going and still frightening as hell. Now there is something else I want to talk to you about before we get back to Hag.
Sure.
You were going to come on my show a long time ago, and we were going to have a discussion about something, and we never did. So we need to discuss George A. Romero's The Amusement Park.
Oh, yes.
I fucking love that movie.
Me too.
There's so many people I know like it's just fucking boring. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? The older you get, the more you watch that, you're like, oh my god, is this what's going to happen to me?
Well, look, I mean, I have met a lot of the people who run the George A. Romero Foundation. They're usually at Living Dead weekend at the mall, at the Dawn of the Dead Mall. And they're a great group of people who really care about preserving George's legacy and doing everything in their ability to put out more of his stuff that hasn't been seen, or that hasn't been properly distributed in any sort of manner. So for me, just getting more George is great. And
Oh yeah.
having something like this, which is so George. What, the church is going to hire me to do a commercial? Okay, I'm going to turn it into the most terrifying thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's great. So I thought the marketing for it was really good too. The marketing that the team did, and sort of kind of commercials that they put together for it and everything. So I hope they do more, because I had a good time with it. I own the Blu-ray.
Oh, it is out on Blu-ray.
Yeah,
Oh well, to Amazon.
yeah, you can pick it up. Shutter, and I think Shutter teamed with a distribution company to put it out.
Yeah, the one film that is so hard to get unless you have a region-free player is Martin.
Right. Um, and I know that that has been kind of a sore spot for a long time, like, because somebody owns the rights to it, and there's a weird thing where um, I was talking with Suze, George's widow,
Right.
at Living Dead weekend last year.
I need to go.
You really do, Ron. It's a great time.
I told my brother it would be like my Mecca.
It is Mecca. But Suze was talking to me about it, and we had booked some time at the George Romero archive in Pittsburgh,
Uh-huh.
and it just so happened that Suze had booked time at the exact on the same day at the exact same time that we had booked time. Me and Seth, my producer, had booked time to look through some of George's material, which is, if you ever have an opportunity to do that, it is an insane experience to be able to hold scripts in your hand that have handwritten notes on it from George, to just be sitting there. It's unbelievable.
Is this in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, University of Pittsburgh has a whole archive of George's, tons and tons of George's material, unproduced scripts and everything.
And how much does this cost to book time there?
It's free. You gotta get in contact with them, and they will set you up. And it's please go do it if you have the opportunity, because it was an amazing experience.
I've if anybody wants to get me something for an early Christmas present after the end of the
There you
month,
go.
I'll probably not be working. So if you want to fly me to Pittsburgh,
But I was distracted because I'm in this library reading George's scripts, and Sue's is literally in the table behind me watching Martin, a version of Martin that you can't see anywhere else. It's in the archive. And so it was a strange but very, very fun and interesting day.
can you take pictures of anything in the archive or no?
Yes, actually, they allow you to take some pictures. They go over all of the rules with you. They're very nice. It's actually somebody who's part of the foundation runs the archive as well, and it's really, really cool. His name's Ben.
I
So
am.
yeah, you got to get
Oh
over
my
there, Ron.
you're telling me. So when it comes to Hag, what are your plans for it? I mean, I know I got it because I was a backer, and you have been looking for distribution and stuff. Is there a Blu-ray coming out besides the Indiegogo, or?
Yeah, appreciate the support on that.
Of course.
The movie is, I mean, it's streaming. You can watch it now. We signed our US and Canadian streaming deal, so you can watch it in the States and in Canada on Prime Video, on Fandango at home, and it's on some cable on demand platforms as well. And then we are working on some international distribution so that you can get it in other countries. And we are working on a Blu-ray. So hopefully the physical media nuts can get their hands on it. We're working on all that right now, and hope to be making some announcements pretty soon.
Now, do you have a bunch of stuff that's going to go on there, the Blu-ray, or? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, that's what I live for, you know, that's one of the big things that got me into making movies was being able to watch DVD bonus features and, you know, all the behind the scenes stuff. So when we were on set, I made sure that we had plenty of fun little BTS stuff going on that we could put on a Blu-ray eventually one day.
Yeah, that was 100% my film school.
Yeah.
Was watching behind the scenes stuff, and nobody did it better than Rodriguez.
Yep.
I almost called him Richard Ramirez. I almost called him the Night Stalker.
That's a whole different
That's a
thing.
whole different. He's not going to teach you how to make porco pibil. He's just going to teach you how to slice up some housewife.
Yeah.
So, but now where can people find you online so they can follow the progress of the hag, hunting for the hag?
Yeah, we mostly post on Instagram these days. So you can follow us on there. The name of our production company is Into the Night Motion Pictures. So if you just search for Into the Night Motion Pictures on Instagram, we should pop up. Our proper handle is Into the Night MP on Instagram. If you're not on Instagram, if you're on Facebook, we're on there as well. Just search for Into the Night Motion Pictures and keep updated with Hag stuff. And we're working on a new movie. And we got new episodes of our ghost hunting show coming out, Ghost Girls.
Now, where can people watch that?
So yeah, so
Where can they watch that?
that's on Tubi. The first episode is on Tubi right now, and we shot 2 new episodes that I'm putting the finishing touches on right now, and those should be out pretty soon as well.
Awesome. Well, Paul, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. We should do
You
this
too.
again,
Yeah,
but with less technical glitches, I think.
yeah.
But future Ron will be discussing that at the beginning of the video. So, but yeah. So thank you so much for being on, and everybody watching, thank you so much for your support. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe and the whole damn thing. And I know I sound like such a fucking YouTuber when I say it, but
Got to do it.
you got to do it. You got call to action.
Yeah.
That's what they say. So thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.